The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
The content heard on the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show is for informational or educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical advice or consultation with healthcare professionals.
Hi, this is Dr. Thomas O'Brien. For almost 25 years, I specialize in offering families an affordable concierge service to avoid paying costly medical insurance or unreachable deductibles without giving up premium health care. As an osteopath, I offer osteopathic adjustments alongside medical examinations. Also, I offer discounts to military and first responders. I am now accepting no-fault patients, which include osteopathic adjustments, medical treatments, and prescription services, including medical marijuana. At my practice, my patients never pay copays and still receive the most personal and complete medical care. I have spent my career devoted to providing healthcare at affordable prices. Everybody should have a relationship with their physician. I work for you and your family. The honor and privilege is mine. If you have been in an automobile accident, please call my office at 631-980-8200 for an immediate appointment. To learn more about me and my practice, visit drtomio.com. Again, I am accepting no-fault patients. Call my office for an immediate appointment, 631-980-8200. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show. I'm your host, Dr. Thomas O'Brien. The Ask Dr. Tommy O Show can be heard every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. I offer a very affordable concierge practice which allows you access to the quality care you really deserve. With no rush office visits, both you and I can discuss your health care needs. If you wait, it may be too late. To my military family, I got your six. To my Masonic brothers, the light is bright. All right, today I'm here by myself. Sammy, she wasn't able to make it. She had a family event that she needed to attend, so I will be carrying the show by myself. All right, before we get started with today's topic, and the topic will be on nutrition, I just wanted to go over, we covered this before, but I really wanted to hammer this down because it's so important. It affects us, everyone, no matter who you are, nutrition affects every single one of us. I want to thank my listeners, especially those who are driving and are coming home from work and are listening to me. I have several patients that listen to my show and they became my patients. I want to thank you for listening and trusting your health, with me, okay? Now they come in and see me and they hear me on the radio and then actually get to meet me and they're like, you're exactly the same on the radio as you are in person. And actually, I'm funnier in person. It's important to develop that physician-patient relationship. That's vital. That's key to really developing a strong relationship, a long-term relationship with your physician. You need to feel comfortable. I always say my house is your house. I treat my patients like family. I want you to feel very comfortable in my house, and that becomes your house. So if there's any issues, anything you need to address, you can feel comfortable coming in to see me and addressing it. Even if it has nothing to do with medicine, but let's say something's going on personally in your life, it has nothing to do with medicine, but you just need to speak, get it off your chest. Someone to bounce ideas. You can come in and see me. We can talk. We can work through it together. It's learning coping mechanisms, and that's that relationship. All right, so I want to happy Passover. It is Passover, and also we have Happy Easter. Easter's fast approaching. Okay, so the second airing of the show will be Sunday, which will be Easter Sunday. And in my house, we say Happy Eastover because we celebrate both Passover and Easter in my home. All right, so spring's fast approaching, okay? So what do? We want to start going outside, activities outside. Well, before you can start any activity, especially if you were inside all winter, you really should have a thorough history and physical and be medically cleared before you start any activities, and this will decrease and lower the risk for injuries or any issues, or we can catch them before they become issues. All right, for the next month, we're giving away 50 vouchers for full body adjustment, including a detailed physical and spinal examination, along with a personalized adjustment treatment plan, all for just $49. Normally, it's a $250 visit. This is a limited time offer as we had a lot of interest, so we're encouraging you to call the office today and schedule your appointment. We look forward to serving you. Having a lot of people call because if they've been to a chiropractor before and they've now they hear me on air or they see what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. I do have a video out there with me, what we say manipulating or adjusting a patient, and they want to see how I actually treat. After I treat, there is a difference in techniques. I had someone today, get off the table and said, "Wow, this was different." Immediately, there was no more pain. I said, "Well, that's the difference. I'm an osteopathic physician. I'm a medical doctor." Okay. All right. So let's get into protein. Protein, very, very important. Protein, all right? Well, protein, that's what makes our muscles, all right? We have the building blocks, the foundation, amino acids, and that produce protein. Protein's produced by the body. Our cells, in order to survive, our bodies produce protein. So we have rules, all right? I'm going to make this real fun. So we have rules. We want to consume protein with high biological values. The higher, the better. And what are those? What is a high biological value? Okay, so you have plant versus animal-based protein. Well, there is a difference between, protein's protein. Well, there is a difference between an animal and a plant-based protein. It's how the body utilizes that protein. So we want high biological value. So what are high biological value proteins? And those sources are eggs or egg whites. I prefer egg whites because the yolk has the cholesterol. Yeah, you can have cholesterol, the yolk itself. But if you're going to start eating a lot of eggs, like let's say you're into training and you're eating, anywhere from 6 and 9 eggs a day. I mean, bodybuilders can get into that. Well, that yolk, that cholesterol level is going to start to go up. So I just say, why don't you eat egg whites? Okay, let's keep that cholesterol down. Soy, the leanest of red meats, okay? You can have red meat, but it has to be lean and mean. I always say lean and mean. You want whey protein. Whey protein has the highest biological value, especially ionized whey protein. On a scale of 100, whey protein is about 103, and ionized whey protein is a theoretical 113. So you can't get any better than 100. And so that's how good whey protein is. And that's why the bodybuilders, they go out and they buy the whey protein, that powder, and it mixes well. I use it. And I mix it in water. You don't need milk. I literally mix it right with water, and it tastes delicious because there's all different flavors out there, and depending on your taste. Tuna, okay? Tuna in water, delicious, high biological value. Turkey breast, chicken breast, high biological value. You want to stay away from, and I would say only on St. Patrick's Day, right? Corned beef, okay? Cabbage, corned beef, delicious. But it's marbled with fat, okay? That's why you could pull it apart and separate it. You don't want to eat that every single day. Your fat, it's delicious. It has good protein, but the fat content is going to be higher. Right? So you want to keep the fat content down, all right? We want to reduce the risk for coronary artery disease or any arterial sclerosis, hardening of the arteries. We don't want fatbergs floating around in your bloodstream. How much? How much protein should we consume? Most individuals will only require 3 to 4 ounces of protein a day. That's right, 3 to 4 ounces. What is a petite steak? You always see on the menu a petite steak, anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces, right? We're talking only 3 to 4 ounces. Female, only 3 ounces. Male, 4 ounces. I'm not talking about the bodybuilder, who's looking to get 240, 250 pounds. This is not going to be enough for him. I'm talking about the average individual between 3 or 4 ounces. That's what it's recommended. The body only requires about 50 to 60 grams per day to maintain, repair, and produce new proteins. Again, 50 on the low side would be for women and 60 for men. To put things into perspective, 3 to 4 ounces of protein is about the size of a deck of cards. 50 cards, a deck of cards. So if you put a deck of cards on your desk, okay, tabletop, whatever, and you see the size of it, okay, and the height of it and the width, that's it. That's all you need. Daily. That's all, daily. Why don't we need so much protein, okay? Why don't we? Well, our body is able to utilize protein and recycle protein so we don't have to keep taking in protein. So we don't need as much. All right, I'm down to about a minute now. So I'll continue. I'm going to introduce carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, okay? We all know what carbohydrates are. Those are your sugars, right? Your sugars, carbohydrates. You have simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. I'm going to stop right there because we have about 50 seconds left, and then we'll pick up carbohydrates on the second half of the show. All right, so to learn more about my practice, go to drtommyo.com. That's drtommyo.com. If you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, I'm accepting motor vehicle accidents, patients who suffered injuries from a motor vehicle accident. I am now also offering the medication to help you lose weight. You know, the Ozempic, well, I'm able to get medication that's very similar to it. There is a shortage, and so we're using a compounding pharmacies to be able to produce that. So if you're looking for a physician that prescribes that medication or something similar, I prescribe it now. You can give my office a call, set up an appointment, and we can help with weight loss. All right, so we're wrapping down part 1. I'll see you on part 2. Welcome back to the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show. I'm your host, Dr. Thomas O'Brien. The Ask Dr. Tommy O Show can be heard every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. I offer a very affordable concierge practice, which allows you access to the quality care you really deserve. With no rush office visits, both you and I can discuss your healthcare needs. All right, so we ended part 1 with carbohydrates, but in between part 1 and part 2, we have a little break there, and we had a nice quick conversation here, and we're talking about supplements and how much protein, and too much protein or not enough protein, and it's difficult to put an exact figure on what an individual needs. It's not, a general rule, 3 to 4 ounces. Again, if you're looking to put size on, you're going to, again, increase the amount of protein. I'm not going to give a specific number because I would have to, what is your weight? What's your baseline? What are you looking for? How many pounds are you looking to put on? So just remember, as a general rule, all the books suggest 3 to 4 ounces. Now, if you have too much protein, you have to be careful. A lot of the guys, when I go to the gym and they go in and the urinal smells like tuna or protein, I'm like, oh, these guys are just taking in way, way too much protein because we need to get rid of some of that. So next, the uric acid, they're urinating out, trying to get rid of the excess, and you can smell it in the urinal, which is not healthy because then we start to overwork our kidneys. So you have to be very, very careful what you do. Again, consult with a professional, someone who has a nutrition degree, someone went to school, dietitian. I have a master's in clinical nutrition. But you want to go to someone who does this every single day so they can actually educate you on the proper way of how to eat, okay? And the proper amounts based on your body habits, based on your habits, your routine, the type of training you do. What is your goal, all right? The key is to make you healthy, okay, not to make you sick, like these fad diets, these supplements. We spoke about supplements. All right, what about supplements? Just be careful with supplements, because it is a business. Okay, it's a business. You're making someone rich. All right, so yes, supplements are fun, good, okay, but if I start taking every supplement on the shelf, it's not going to be good. All right. So you have to be very careful, very careful. And the analogy I say is I go into an auto shop and I said, well, if I take this part, it's going to give me 10% more horsepower. I put this part on my engine, it's going to give me another 10%. And you figure I'm going to put 100 parts on my car, on my engine, and my engine's going to be 100% faster and stronger. No, that's not the case. It's the same thing with supplements. So you're going to get better and get better. No, you have to be very, very careful. Just because they're over the counter doesn't mean that they're not that they're benign. They can be toxic. So you have to be very, very careful. Speak to someone who's educated on this. All right, so let's continue with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, okay, complex carbohydrates are better than simple carbohydrates. Well, what's a complex carbohydrate? Complex carbohydrates is going to be your fruits and vegetables. An apple a day versus candy bar. You heard the saying, an apple a day will keep the doctor away. All right, complex carbohydrates. Why? Because it takes a lot more energy to break down that complex carbohydrates, and eventually we'll break them down into a simple carbohydrate. And we want this, especially for someone who has diabetes, because we want to be able to control their sugar levels. If you're constantly eating simple sugars, your insulin's going to keep spiking, and then you're going to go up and you're going to go down, and you're going to crave for more sugar, and you're going to eat more simple sugar, and your insulin's going to go up and drive the sugar into the cells, and you're going to crash again, and you're going to want more simple sugar. It's a yo-yo. That's not good. We want complex carbohydrates so we can slowly fuel the body, so the insulin can slowly drive the sugar into the body. And then you're not going to crave in between meal snacks. All right, so why? Well, we said eat carbohydrates with a low glycemic index. Why? Glycemic index is a scale used to measure carbohydrate biological value. The lower, the better. A slice of white bread has a glycemic index of 100. That is bad. A slice of whole grain rye is 58, which is better. We want to try to eat carbohydrates with the lowest possible glycemic index. Glycemic indexes will help control appetite, blood sugar levels, and insulin serum levels. All right, so high fiber diet. The more fiber, the more complex the carbohydrate, all right, the lower the glycemic index. Well, we always say if you're going to read up, if you go online and do a search, right, in a search engine, put glycemic index, all right, chart, comma, PDF, glycemic index chart, comma, PDF, and you'll be able to download or open up and then download these glycemic charts. And if you read all the studies, it suggests that you should eat 55 or lower. And as I said, you want to eat as low as you can go, all right? Because not all the foods taste, when you start getting real low, the foods don't taste the greatest. So what you do is you'd make your own menu of glycemic index food sources that have as low as possible, and you're going to have to open up a lot of glycemic index charts, and you're going to see. And you'll see high, medium, and low. The lower, the better. Okay? All right. Why? Because it's going to help control your appetite, lower your blood sugar levels, and your insulin serum levels. And that's why we put diabetics on a low glycemic index diet. Okay? And actually, all of us, it doesn't matter if you have diabetes or not, but we should all be on a low glycemic index diet. Very good for us, right? It's going to be a high fiber diet. What do we say about fiber? Fiber will help lower your cholesterol levels. It will sequester the fat in your colon, and when you have a bowel movement, will push it out. High fiber diet will help control your blood sugar levels, right? Because complex carbohydrates. A high fiber diet will help strip the lining in the colon to remove the dead cells. It will clear it out. A high fiber diet will sequester free radicals in the colon and reduce the risk for colon cancer. A high fiber diet will increase the transit time from mouth to anus, right? So if you have a history of being constipated, a high fiber diet will start to make you regular. If you go soft, if you have a history of having, going soft diarrhea, this will bind you up, okay? So a high fiber diet, it's wonderful for us. It really, really does wonders. All right, fat. Okay, I have about 2.5 minutes left. So fat, there are 3 types of fat, and they are monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and saturated. I've gone over this a couple of times. Saturated fats are bad. Well, you say bad, but we need saturated fat. The amount of saturated fat, okay, that's the key. Several scientific studies demonstrate that high saturated fat diets are a risk for developing heart disease, obesity, and cancer. Polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats are cardiac friendly, good for the heart. Those same studies demonstrated that omega-3 fatty acids found in fish are cardiac friendly and help reduce cholesterol levels. Why? Polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats are cardiac friendly. These fats sequester free radicals, therefore preventing cell destruction. So cook with olive oil, right? We're always talking about olive oil. Olive oil, delicious. Rule. There's always a rule. When reading food labels, use the simple formula. For every gram of saturated fat, there should be at least 2 grams of polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat. That's the ratio, a 1 to 2 to 2 ratio. And I'll cover salt because we're wrapping now. We only have a minute. That's how fast this show goes. Salt. Do not add additional table salt to food when cooking and eating. I know a lot of people that table salt, they want to put it in. Try to consume fresh fruits, vegetables, and soups. Stay away from canned products. Canned products typically have a high salt, or what we call sodium content. All right. Why? Because it is a preservative. All right. Now, what does salt do? What salt does is a magnet to water. So if salt is going into the body will retain fluid. So that will make the heart work harder and we'll have a higher blood pressure. All right, so I'm going to just stop there because I can go on and on and on, and we have not enough time. So to learn more about Dr. Tommy O, go to drtommyo.com. That's drtommyo.com. If you're looking for the medication to lose weight, give my office a call because I will start prescribing a medication that's going to be produced in a compounding pharmacy so we can lose those pounds.
The content heard on the Ask Dr. Tommy O show is for informational or educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical advice or consultation with healthcare professionals.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.